Sometimes you can walk into a gym and if it's really, really busy, it can get to you. You can feel really, really anxious. And then what's happening then? Your workout is going to be neglected. You're not going to do a thorough job. If you feel a little bit anxious about the gym and it's a little bit too busy, find yourself one of these and this is going to be your new best friend, and the workout we're going to do right now is going to be phenomenal. Let's give it a go. So today we're going to do something a little bit unique. We're going to do a workout. We're going to do a pull workout, but we're going to do it just on this cable machine. Okay, so when I think of a pull workout, we need to target everything in the back. So we're targeting the lats, the traps, and the biceps. That's the main focus. We want to get a bit of rear delts in there as well. So that's what we're going to go for today. So our first setup is we want to try and mimic the lat pull down machine because it's very dominant exercise. It's a bit of a compound exercise. We're going to use this canvas bar, set it quite high up on the cable, grab yourself 2 handles, put it either side, and as you see, I've got the bench set up quite nicely. Now, if you watch this now, I'm going to get myself into position. And you can imagine this now, I'm replicating that lat pull down grip. But I'm going to release it slow. I'm going to really stretch them lats. And I'm going to come back down and really contract them lats now. This is arguably a little bit better than a lat pull down machine, purely because now that I've got my chest on this bench, I can't use any momentum whatsoever. Whereas on a lat pull down machine, you tend to have a little tendency to lean back. You can cheat it, you can use a bit of momentum. So just like how you go about most workouts, you always want to start with the compound type of exercises first. You wouldn't go into a workout and just start doing biceps straight away. You tend to leave the isolated type of exercises towards the end. So I'm going to keep the reps a little bit lower. So let's aim for your normal 3 sets. That's absolutely cool. A little bit of a warm up first, then 3 working sets. Stay in the rep range between 8 to 12. That'll be fantastic. So that's your first exercise, replicating the lat pull down machine. Brilliant pump on already, so that's great. Now for our second exercise, I've set the cable a little bit further down. I'm going to get a lat pull down attachment. Now what we're going to do from here, we're going to do a high row. A high row is fantastic for really building out the rear delts and the traps. A lot of people, when they do a pull workout, it's very, very lat dominant and they tend to neglect the upper back. Now, in my opinion, your lat's going to get hit quite often in most exercises that we do, whereas the upper back can tend to be a little bit neglected. Focusing on that can really help a lot of development, and this high row is just fantastic. So I'm going to grab the bar just beyond shoulder width, so a little bit more than shoulder width. I'm going to sit myself down. I'm going to keep that chest up. I'm going to pull it in just towards the low part of my chest, and I can feel the contraction in my rear delts already. A lot of people tend to have a tendency to come very high. It's very uncomfortable and you're not really targeting the muscles that you want to. So just keep your elbows down a little tiny bit and bring it in towards the upper part of your chest. And now as I release, I'm going to really stretch them shoulders out, pull myself back in, top part of that chest, and I can feel that immediately, nice and controlled. I don't really want to do any swinging, don't use any momentum whatsoever. Don't want to be doing any of this. I want to get that chest upright, leaning forward a little bit, top part of the chest. And now I'm away. So that was exercise number 2, overhand grip, high row. You can change your grip and work a bit more lats. If I went underhand grip and pulled it in quite low, I'm getting a little bit more lats. But I really want to target the upper back for today. That's why I went overhand and a bit wider. Once again, staying in with rep range between 8 to 12, keep that form perfect. Moving on to exercise number 3, we're going to grab a single attachment again. Keep the cable medium height. And now, I'm sure you've seen before, the seated row. Very, very good exercise for your lats. What we're going to do here, we're going to mimic that, but just doing single. Now what this gives me the opportunity to do, doing a single, is I can work on a bit more of a stretch. So instead of just kind of coming down to my knee, I'm going to kind of twist in so you can see how much that lat is actually stretching out. So I'm going to twist in, let the cable pull me back and do a single arm row. And that contraction in my lats is fantastic. I'm going to let that cable pull my lats. Initially they're moving from the elbow, coming down, contract. So as you can see with this position, your hand dictates what part you really want to use for your back. So as you can see, when I was doing that then, and elbows are down, I'm coming quite low, whereas before on exercise number 2, very high and wide, we get to the upper part of the back. Once you've done 12 on one side, let's swap it over, drop to that knee with a slight twist, stretch, pull. Elbow stays close to that chest, pull. Once again, you can even argue that is better than the seated row, purely because when you're in a seated row position, you don't really get that much of a stretch in the lats. Whereas this now, I've got the single and I'm twisting, I get a lot more of a stretch in that position and the contraction's fantastic. Right guys, we're halfway through our pull workout using the cable only machines. I do want to touch on something as well. A lot of people say that the machine weights aren't as good as the free weights. I will argue that point that is incorrect information. The reason for it, when you're using machines, as what you've seen already, you can really control the movement a lot better. It gives you the opportunity to work on the stretch position a bit more as well, and you can really work on the contraction. So yes, free weights are brilliant and they certainly have their place, but don't be thinking that the machines aren't as good as the free weights. So let's get to it. Exercise number 4. We're now moving away from the compound type of exercise that we've done. Let's go towards the isolation a little bit now. We're going to do a rear delt fly on the cable machine. So I need both cables set up to shoulder width height. Now you're going to want to keep the weight quite low for this. What I'm going to do, I want to target the rear delts. Really focus on the rear delts. So I'm going to grab one side and then I'm going to grab the other. So I'm going to grab the opposite side. And that is now my starting position. I'm not going to keep my arms locked out. I'm going to have a slight bend in my elbows. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull them to either side of the wall. I'm going to pull out. And once again, that contraction in my rear delts is phenomenal. Come back into the center, stretch in the rear delts, out and contract. Control the weight coming back in, out, contract, control the weight coming back in. With that rear delt, let's stay in a bit of a higher rep range now. Let's start going towards a higher rep range. We've done our compound, we've done our lower reps. Let's go a bit higher. Let's start getting that burning sensation. So 15 reps for that. Now let's move on to exercise number 5 in our pull workout using cable only. Let's get a bit of biceps going on. So I'm going to bring the cables back down just between my hip and my knee. That's perfect. So brought both cables down. I'm going to get our handle attachments back on. This is a tough exercise and very easy to get wrong. So start off with a reasonable weight. Don't be going too heavy too fast. Now you probably noticed that I've got the cables a little bit higher than what you would typically see when people do the cable curls. The reason for this is I really want to work on that stretch position a lot more, which is a lot more beneficial for hypertrophy, which is going to cause a lot more muscle growth for yourself. So I'm going to leap forward. I'm not going to lead the hips back. I'm going to bring the hips forward with me. Start with a complete lockout on them arms, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to contract them biceps, and I'm going to let the cable take me back to a straight arm. Nothing else is moving other than my arm. It's really important to have the mind to muscle. So when I pull it in now, that's called the concentric. That's where we contract. When I release, that's the eccentric. A lot of people tend to have a tendency just to let go. You want to be able to come in, contract, but control the eccentric, which is the lower and down phase. Now I'm in that stretch position and the biceps are doing all the work to pull that in. Controlling that eccentric, and my biceps are just crying right now. Once you've done your set, 10 to 15 reps, you really feel that working. It's fantastic. You'll see that when I'm in that position there, nothing else is moving up here as well. It's only from the elbow flexion, okay? So from there, try not to have a tendency to cheat your way and curl it up. You want to keep that elbow pointing towards the cable. That's what you're going for. That's exercise number 5. Biceps are frazzled. I've only been doing 4 to 5 reps in each one and I can feel it already. So this workout is going to be fantastic. Let's have a bit of a finisher now. When we do a pull workout, we never neglect the traps either, which is at the top. So we're going to get the cambered bar back on instead of the cable to the bottom. Let's go. Let's go for 20 reps. I'm not going to do 20 reps, but you are. So cambered bar back on for our upright row. Cables all the way at the bottom. A lot of people can get upright row wrong. But what I want you to imagine for me to make sure you get it right is that you just lead with the elbows. So before I lift it, I just want to show you, it's just the elbow coming up, coming up, coming up. And that's all you need to go through. A lot of people have the tendency to really overdo it. And next with the elbows are pointing down, which is not what you want to do. You want the elbows to point up and the wrist have no real control. So don't be doing any of this at the top in particular. So let's grab our cambered bar, chest up. The focus is the elbows come to the ceiling. Elbows come up, then I've got a big contraction in my traps right now, and then I let the cable pull my traps down, stretch, up we go again, initiating the movement from the elbows only, coming back down. And as you can see, once again, I'm coming up faster with the concentric, and I'm coming down a little bit slower and controlled on the eccentric movement. Up, contract them traps, back down. And once you get your rhythm, let's get going. I'm gonna let them traps do all the work, get that burning sensation. I'm gonna aim for 20 reps. Excellent, guys. What a fantastic workout that's gonna be for yourself. Super ideal, especially if you're a bit anxious and you're a bit worried. Really watch them exercise in detail. So it's a great idea. If the gym is a bit of an anxiety environment for yourself, you don't really feel too confident in yourself to go in and do a proper workout, then just get yourself seated and based on this cable machine and just do those exercises, and you just done a fantastic pull workout, targeting the lats, targeting the upper back and getting the biceps popping as well. You covered all of that brilliantly. And with machines, like I said before, they are fantastic and they are just as good, if not better, than the free weights. It allows you to have a lot more control. We can really work on the stress position quite a lot, and we get a massive contraction on them as well. We need to realize as well, sometimes when we go on holiday, most gyms on holiday tend to have a very poor selection of machines and free weights, but they all tend to have a cable machine. And look what's happening now. You've done a fantastic workout just using these. So give it a go for me. Let me know how you do. If you have any questions whatsoever, I will gladly answer them. Comment below, drop me an email, whatever you want to do. Find me on social media. But more importantly, support me, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you like this type of content, and let's get you on the right path.